Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be what women really want. I've got a great email here from a viewer who's 48 and he's divorced after a 16-year marriage. Found my work and he just started reading the book over and over and over and over again and started living and embodying the things that I teach in my book. And he's the embodiment of what an alpha male is. And so I'm going to go through his email, but I got a quote that I wrote on this particular topic, and then I'll go through and point out the things that he's really done to turn his life around. And the quote says, "What do women really want in a man? A man who is unapologetically himself. A man who knows what he wants, why he wants it, and is determined to get it despite the risks and potential for failure. A man who marches to the beat of his own drum. A man who is a gentleman, strong, charming, chivalrous, humorous, determined, and respectful. A man who will choose walking away versus staying in a relationship that requires him to sacrifice his hopes, goals, and dreams to make a woman happy. Relationships are not about compromising one's principles, values, goals, and wishes, but about finding a mutually beneficial way for both people to give to one another in such a way that they both can achieve their grandest goals and dreams and reach their full potential together." So let's go through his email. He says, "Hey Coach, your book changed my life. I'm 48 and divorced after a 16-year marriage. While I've been successful in my professional life, my relationships with women sucked because I was a weak-ass, hyper-pleasing bitch." That's some brutal honesty with yourself, dude. That's awesome. And that's why you're able to make the changes that you needed to make in your life. You just said, you know what? Obviously what I'm doing is not fucking working. So therefore, I need to change my approach. A lot of guys have a hard time with that. They don't want to admit that what they're doing is not working. He says, "After the divorce, I started dating a woman that I thought was perfect for me. We had so much in common, but I had not learned anything, and my weak behavior chased her back to her old boyfriend. And I thought, Jesus, here we fucking go again." I was like, my early 20s were like that. It's like you see, after a while, those kinds of things happen. It's like the same pattern with every woman. As soon as you meet a girl you really like, she doesn't want anything to do with you. It's like, oh, what the fuck? It's the same shit over and over. You don't realize what you're doing to shoot yourself in the foot and to sabotage your own success. He says it was a vicious cycle, never making a lasting connection with women that I wanted. Women that I had no romantic feelings for would chase me mercilessly. I was clueless about what the fuck was going on until I read your book. Then it all became clear. A friend of mine turned me on to your book and website. And by the way, everybody watching this, I'm never too busy for your referrals. I appreciate you telling your friends and your family about my YouTube videos and my book on my website and all the articles that I have. That is the highest compliment that you can pay me, is to refer people that you look up to or that you're friends with or that you're family with to my work. He says, "I wish I read your book 10 times in a week." Damn, dude, you were fucking serious. "And vowed to change. I started working out again and then got back into triathlons, which is something that I abandoned in a weak-ass attempt to please my wife." So in other words, she's like, "I don't like you doing all these triathlons." She just said, "Baby, this is who I am. This is what I do. I love triathlons." And they bitch and they complain, but at the end of the day, they still love you and they stay with you when you act that way. It's like I said in the quote, a man who is unapologetically himself. But instead, you started apologizing for being who you were. This is the guy she fell. You were already doing this shit before you even met your ex-wife. Now she comes into your life and she's going to rearrange everything. I mean, women do that anyways when they come into your life, or at least they're going to try to see what they can get away with. But at the root core of everything, you have to remain who you are. You have to continue to be the awesome, interesting, successful, in-shape man that you are when you met her. A lot of guys, as soon as they hear their woman complain about certain things that they're doing, or, "Oh, I don't like you hanging out with your friends all the time," they think, okay, well, I'll stop hanging out with my friends and then she won't get pissed. When she complains that you hang out with your friends too much, say, baby, I love my friends, and we've been friends since we were teenagers, and I'm not going to give up my friendships with my best buddies. I hardly see them now as it is. And if you don't like it, you know what? Get yourself a pet. Say something playful and humorous like that communicates, hey, I understand where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, these friends are like family to me. I'm not going to give them up. I'm not going to give up my triathlons. I'm not going to stop going to the gym if you don't like it. But obviously you don't want to let that interfere in the courtship. That's one of the biggest things that I see guys in relationships do is they stop dating and courting their girlfriend or their wife. He says, but now I realize she was only testing me. In fact, I have sympathy for her now. I realized that all she wanted was for me to be the man that she knew I was and what she wanted, and all I did was make things worse. So basically what you did is you tried to bend yourself into a pretzel to become what you thought she wanted. In other words, whenever she complained about anything, you thought, oh, I got to change who I am so she doesn't get upset with me. He says, anyway, a year later, I dropped 25 pounds. I'm in the best shape I've been in 15 years. I left a job that I fucking hated, and I've started my own business doing what I've always loved, and I'm doing great. That's fucking awesome. And now that you're working at something you love instead of something that you hated, you're going to be a hell of a lot happier. Why? Because most of your time is going to be spent working at your mission and your purpose in life. And when you're working at something that you hate, that's going to affect your health and your overall sense of well-being. And now you got your own business and you're happy, you're doing something you really love, you're just a hell of a lot happier all the time. When you're happy, the happier you are, the more attractive you are going to be, whether you're a man or a woman, to members of the opposite sex. He says, the women in my life now are terrific. Your principles fucking work. Right now, I have 3 great high-quality professional women chasing me, and the one that dumped me for her old boyfriend, well, she's back now. I have to fit one more into my busy schedule. Oh, you poor baby. That must be so hard. Anyone who wants to change must read your book as many times as it takes to flush out the complete bullshit contaminating your brain. I still read it, and I've lost count of how many times. It becomes a discipline that you have to reinforce. If there are men out there that have tried to be a 3% man and are not getting results, in my opinion, they really have not completely adopted this lifestyle change. In other words, they are faking it. Instead, you have to live it and truly believe that you have become the person you want to be. Why? Because women know when you're faking it. Abso-fucking-lutely. They can see right through fucking bullshit. He says they fucking know when you like them and want them. And by being honest with how you feel and what you want, you are authentic. This drives them nuts because the world is filled with men like I used to be. I don't live in the past, and I'm excited about the future because you know what? The past doesn't really exist. These are memories, nothing more. The future is waiting for you to write it. It's what you do in the now that matters. That's a fucking great email, dude. You're like a fucking philosopher. That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that story. But like I said, you can see he's like the way he looks at the world. He sees a woman that he likes, and he goes for it without apologizing for it. He communicates his sexual interest. He's not upset. He's not butthurt. He's not offended if a woman doesn't like him. The bottom line is he showed up. He did his part. And as a man, that's what you owe women. Not to hide behind Facebook or social media or the telephone or trying to get a friend of a friend to go and talk to somebody that you have interest in. To go out there and put your fucking nuts in the chopping blocks, and if she chops them off, so what? I mean, it's figure of speech, obviously. But the bottom line is you put yourself out there, and you're vulnerable. And at least you showed up, because it's so rare that a beautiful woman meets a man who just comes right up and says, God, you fucking take my breath away. We got to get together and have dinner sometime, because you're exactly the kind of woman I've been looking for. I mean, that's honest. That's authentic. That's what you're feeling in your heart. You don't walk up and go, hey, I kind of like your hair, and you're dressed really nice. Would you like to have dinner sometime? You're not going to get anywhere with that. You got to speak from your heart. You got to be bold. God, you got a fucking unbelievable body. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ, girl, you fucking take my breath away. You are perfection. Just the way you move, the elegant way you move, you glide. I mean, you walk like a woman should walk. It's like, God, you're fucking amazing. I fucking want you. I gotta have you. When are you free to get together to have a drink sometime? When are you free to get together for a cup of coffee? When are you free to get together for dinner? When you come across like that, even if she shoots you down, she's gonna walk away respecting you because at least you had the guts to show up and be a fucking man, because that hardly ever happens to women. How do I know? Ask them. Most guys are creepy as fuck and they can't tell. They don't know when to get the hint. Just like the video I did recently called The Clueless Creepy Stalker. It's like those kinds of dudes are in abundance all over the place. And so women are just dying to find a real man who knows how to act and how to treat a woman. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.